Welcome back to Road Race Retro.
So this is a Capri that we recently picked up for a client of ours. Very, very rare car with under 50,000 miles on. Year of production, 1983. So this little car is now 40 years old. What are we going to do with it today? So the customer obviously doesn't like the grubby seats. I should have done this video earlier. We've already done the driver's side and I thought, hold on a minute, I'll make a TikTok. So there's our snap-on steam cleaner. And what we're going to use for this is clean and deodorize 3-in-1 carpet cleaner, which is very, very good and leaves a nice scent in the car. And a little trick which not a lot of people know, this stuff is awesome. So what we also have is this. You might not think it, but Woolite is fantastic. Brings up all of the dust, all the muck out the seats, and we basically use hot water, scrub this and massage it in the seats, and then use a snap-on seat cleaner to basically get it clean. So what we're looking at now, we've already done the driver's side. As you can see, obviously the fabric on this side is lovely and clean now in comparison to this, where this is all stained and discoloured and stuff. So we're going to do the passenger one now, and let's see how that comes up. Now there's two different brushes that we use. These have only been used for the seats. They do look a little bit dirty, but over time obviously they do get a little bit grimy, but obviously the machine sucks all of the residue out. This one is a slightly softer bristle brush. This one is quite coarse and quite harsh. What we're actually going to do is we're going to go with a soft one, simply for the age of the car. And these seats are like an old school velour, so what I don't want to do is I don't want to put too much stress on this cloth. It's in very, very nice condition. It's original, and I don't want to put it under any stress. So we're going to go with the soft bristle brush, and we're going to see what this takes out first. So that's my recommendation. Old seats, always go with the softer bristles. Give it a pass, go over it once, get the machine, suck the fluid out, and see how it stands. If you feel you can go a little bit firmer with this one, if you're not clean enough, try a little test area, see how the fabric reacts, but don't press on too hard because we don't want to ruin these seats. Right, so what we've done now is, obviously, as you can see, the seats look a little bit damp, so we've lathered all the seats with plenty suds from the Woolite, which obviously you've got here, which I've already showed you. And then we're going to use this soft bristle brush, wet it a little bit, and then just start working it into the seats. Now, the way that I do this, the seats are honestly soaking wet. I like to soak them. At the end of the day, everything that we're doing here, the stuff and the solution that we're using is, well, can only be described as like a fresh washing smell. So even if you are wetting the old foam under the seat, it's not so much of a bad thing. There'll be a lot of odors in this car over the 40 years of existence, and it'll do no harm to put a bit of solution in there. The snap-on the machine that we actually use at the moment has quite a strong pump in, so it does run quite deep and obviously sucks all of the dirt out, which I'll show you in just a moment. But the stains on these particular seats aren't all that bad, so just have a little bit of scrub and I can see most of it's come out. I'll show you in the next couple of clips the difference between the stain on this side, as it were, and as it now is once we've sucked everything out. But that's it for this bit, and we'll get into scrubbing a little bit more, and then we will get the pump on and we'll suck all of the dirt out. But so far so good, it's looking quite nice, I think. If I'm honest, it's actually a job that I like doing. It's quite rewarding when you take something that's old and tarnished and needs that little bit of love put back into it, and you spin it around and you sit back and look and you think, you know, it's a job that's worth doing. So if you do have old cars and your seats are like this, don't get me wrong, you probably will need to buy a good wet vac with a strong pump on. Our snap-on one was quite expensive, but you can get them cheap, around £100. If you clean a couple of sets of seats a year, it's worth buying that machine, and it does make a huge difference. So let's crack on and then we'll see what it's like. Right, so here is our trusty snap-on machine, and I've tried to get this camera to focus in on the seats and to get really, really close, and this will give you a rough idea what 40 years worth of grime looks like when it's coming out of these old Capri seats. So what we'll do is we'll switch the machine on. I'll have to apologise for background noise. I might put some music over that, I might not, but hopefully we'll see the results. And obviously keep an eye on this bit on the video and you'll see what kind of muck's dragging through here once the pump's on. So let's give it a shot and I'll show you what we're looking at. shut our pump off, it's loud now, but as you can see from the video, you can see straight away, obviously the fabric is starting to come cleaner already. It feels a lot better. Obviously the fabric has softener and stuff in it as well, so it does make the cloth, if you like, a little bit more supple as well. And just generally, your old car feels a little bit fresher. With these old school cars, we like to keep it old school, that's what they're all about. But to have a nice clean trim in something that's 40-year-old, I think you've achieved something that's pretty decent. It's always nice to jump in and think, you know, it's clean in here, the seats look well. And we just turn this round a little bit. You'll know yourself if you're into owning old cars, that little touches like this can make a big difference when you jump into your prestigious classic car or old school vehicle. And it's something that we like to work on. We like to get the interiors as nice as we possibly can. This car was actually in beautiful condition anyway. The backstory with it was we bought it from an elderly woman in her 70s who bought the car when the car was only 1 year old. But again, she confessed to obviously not have used it much in the last 15, 20 years. But it's been garaged. The body of the car is beautiful. Just again, the interior is literally a 40-year-old original interior, which is, for me, super cool. And the fact that these seats have never been cleaned in 40 years, to me, is just, it's mad. But realistically, in the condition you see them in now, 40 years old, they're actually very, very good. Now, you'll not always suck every little bit of moisture out the seats. Now, what you don't want to do is, in this scenario, is shut the windows, put the car away and just leave it. Hopefully, if it's a nice warm day or you've got an aired out garage, leave the windows down, try and run the car with the heaters on and try and get the seats dry, because basically, if you don't do that and the windows are left up and there's no heat in here or air to dry the seats, you will still get that foisty smell. So the seats need to be bone dry. So just make sure you run it with those heaters on, leave those windows down, and then you'll get the desired effect at the end. So there you have it. I've given the car a couple of hours now. We've had the heaters on, we've had the windows down, and as you can see, for 40-year-old seats, the quality of this fabric now, where we've cleaned it and took all the stains out, is beautiful. Before it was quite dry feeling, but now it obviously feels a little bit more supple, so it'll give a little bit nicer. As you can see, the seats are really good condition anyway. The piping's still all good, but again, the back again, nice and suppleness in the fabric, and those are extremely clean now. Obviously, passenger side one is exactly the same. So as you can see, those are beautiful. You'd never think they were 40-year-old. The fabric, they look pretty fresh, to be fair. But I just thought we'd put this out there. I know a lot of people are obviously into detail and obviously want tips, etc. So we just thought we'd show you what we do with these seats to get them back up to standard. And there's our little Capri with the miles. Sorry, it's ticked over 50,000 miles now. So low mileage car that definitely benefited from having the work done.